Introduction. God's Yes. I've learned more on long flights about teaching Christians sexual morality than I have anywhere else. That may sound strange, so let me explain. By long flights, I mean more than 2 hours, just long enough to strike up a real conversation with the passenger beside me. After several of these conversations, I began to notice that they followed a predictable pattern. The passenger next to me would ask what I do for a living, find out I'm a Christian writer and podcaster, and immediately ask me some version of this question. So does that mean you're against sex outside marriage? Same-sex marriage? Abortion? Hookups? LGBT people? At first, I would try to answer these questions directly, explaining the biblical reasons I'm against sexual activity outside of marriage between one man and one woman, homosexual behavior, the killing of unborn babies, alternative gender identities, and more. But after a few conversations that gave me déjà vu and bore little fruit, I began to reconsider my response. I realized that by answering my fellow passengers' "Are you against?" questions, I was buying a hidden assumption that Christianity is a faith defined mainly by its no's, by the things it forbids. I asked myself a question: is this true? Is my faith nothing more than a laundry list of things God prohibits? Have I dedicated my life to defending and applying these dictates of cosmic killjoy? Is the Christian understanding of right and wrong really summarized in that one abrupt bark of a word, no? If so, is Christianity worth believing? It's no coincidence that these high-altitude conversations always seem to come back to sex. Our culture is obsessed with it, treating sexual attractiveness, experiences, and orientation as the pinnacle of a human being's identity and worth. And as long as there's consent, anything goes. Now imagine how Christians look through the eyes of those who consider themselves sexually liberated. Going back to the 1990s, read any Christian book on sex and one word looms large: no. During the heyday of what's often called evangelical purity culture, authors, pastors, conferences, and teachers constantly used that little word. No premarital sex, no recreational dating, no kissing before the ring, no immodest dress, no lust, no pornography, no time alone with the opposite sex. No, no, no. Now, I don't think purity culture was nearly as clumsy and counterproductive as critics these days suggest. Some of those no's I just listed are, after all, good and godly advice. But somewhere along the way, the idea that Christian morality, especially sexual morality, consists entirely of no's, entered the popular imagination and stuck. I think that has really hurt our image as Christians and our opportunities to share the gospel. The very word purity, which was so often used by evangelical authors during my teenage years, evokes hygiene, cleanliness, and separation from something dirty. We say water is pure when it has no contaminants. Sprinkle some dirt in it and it becomes impure. It's not hard to see how readers encounter this word and mistakenly conclude that sex itself is the dirt Christians want to preserve themselves from, and that Christians are therefore not only obsessed with the word no, but are against sex. The problem isn't necessarily the word purity, of course. It's in the title of this guide. Nor is it the word no, which happens to be a very useful word. No can even save a life. I'm a dad, and there are a few quicker or more effective ways to stop my child from running in front of an oncoming car than shouting no. I'm certainly not going to give my 6-year-old an extended lecture on Newtonian physics to change his mind about challenging that Dodge Challenger. No is a great word. It constantly saves children and adults alike from stupid, dangerous, immoral, and self-destructive behavior. And thankfully, it's short and easy to shout. God says no, too. A lot. At the heart of the law he gave his chosen people, delivered to Moses amid thunder and storm clouds on Mount Sinai, is a list of 10 commandments that echo down through history and to this day form the heart of Jewish and Christian ethics. We cannot ignore the fact that these commandments are dominated by no's, or to use the King's English, thou shalt nots.